looks thick as a brick! Let's take a peek.
At one of my shows a few days ago, as a joke, I told them another. I wound up saving. 2 children came to talk to me after. Anyway, I told them that learning magic. It seems like something's bothering Lorenzo lately, but he won't open up to me about it. Surely he's not upset that I agreed to teach those. I have a good feeling about those kids. They have all sorts of fantastic. They wanted to call me master, but with time, I have no. Gemma thinks so too. It's nearly time for me to go on tour. I once overheard them talking about their father and their mission. Sounds like it's only been 10 days since I first met them. They're very tough, but also very cautious. They hide things from me too. For example, when I ask them where they... That's the thing about children. Whenever they're trying to cover, I can sense that their lives have been hard. After thinking things over, I decided to tell them a bit about how P.S. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Children aren't interested. Oh, Caesar.
Two magic geniuses with a father and a mission, huh? Sounds a lot like he was writing about lineage. So did they meet Caesar when they were kids?
Hold that thought. As I expected, there's a lot of fishy things going on in this place.
Fishy?
All in good time. Before we go over our new leads, First, the magician slots themselves into a magic box in full view of the audience. At this point, a dummy will fall out of the box, but it looks real enough to grab the audience's attention. Meanwhile, the real magician, who has by now blended into the crowd, waits for a good moment to make their appearance and put on a hysterical performance. Oh no! Is that me?
Very vivid description.
The audience's gaze then turns to the magician, and by the time they realize what's happened, of course, that's just how I think the process should work. The inventor of this trick never performed it He fell right to the ground from the highest point of the opera house. And no one else has ever attempted this trick since. My understanding of how it works...
So Caesar's famous high-altitude escape... Paimon was about to say how cool it would have been to see it in person. Wait a second.
Glad you asked. That brings us to the secret of... This box right here is the one that Caesar constructed himself to use in the performance. And once the magician's inside, and the box is lifted up into the air, the audience's view of the box is fixed at a certain angle. From where they're standing, they have a clear view of the front, sides, and bottom, but the back and the top are now no longer visible. At this point, the magician presses a button inside the box, opening a secret door out of view. He then escapes through this trap door onto the opera house roof, waits for the dummy to fall and distract the audience, and quietly...
That's way simpler than Paimon imagined.
Well, there's a little more to it than that, of course. The hardest part of this trick is control. There's the falling dummy, the miraculous reappearance, the pompous performing. Maybe the magician would even have themselves tied up before it begins to strengthen the impression. Many days and nights of careful research and painstaking practice would have gone into this, all culminating in a performance just a few minutes long, but one that still manages to transform the shock and grief of a tragic... Caesar was a highly accomplished magician.
So... how did it go so wrong?
I can make a pretty good guess. I looked into the case files. The magic box Caesar was using at the time of his death had the secret button I mentioned positioned on the right-hand side. And sure enough...
Okay.
But here's the strange thing. Most of the devices in this workshop have the mechanism on the left-hand side, including this box right here. Which leads me... Because a magician can't afford to have their most basic habits stand out too much. People, but a magician needs to be able to read. The essence of magic is getting people, and so Caesar, but in his most stressful and nerve-wracking moments, and when no one was watching, reflex would kick in and he'd use his left hand. Exactly. I think that's likely what happened. Caesar would have been under a lot of time pressure during the escape. He'd have had mere seconds to open the hidden compartment, retrieve the dummy, then open the... But I'm sure he was confident. He would have rehearsed countless times to the point. So he opened the compartment, took out the dummy, checked everything was in order, and then went to leave. With his left hand, he reached for the button, and suddenly, much like when you reach for your keys but find your pocket empty, his mind needed a moment. Instinctively, his left hand would keep feeling around for the missing button, maybe for another. With the stakes being as high as they were, just a 2-second delay cost him everything.
When in reality, someone switched the box. But how would they be able to make the switch without being
It would have to have been someone who knew that he was left-handed, and who could move his props around without arousing... Isn't that right?
You just couldn't let sleeping dogs lie. There's not a lot of people who'd go to all this trouble for some magician who died 10 years ago. But I gave you your chance. I hoped you'd do what's good for you and back off.
You mean Gemma? So...
Yes, although however stubborn she might be, she was never much of a liability, which is why you can't leave the...
Step right up!
This moment will be frozen in time. Freeze! Cool it!
Now disappear! Let's get this show on the road! And voila!
Surrendering will be gentle, as a dutiful maid would.
Dodge this! Don't get frostbite.
Drop! Shame!
Had enough yet, Lorenzo? I think it's high time you started talking.
If I had a mora for every time you've said that man's name. He was just an amateur who did cheap tricks for gullible children. I was the one who made magic into...
So it was...
Jealousy. He poured everything into his street but the people loved him, didn't they? Oh, how they looked up to him. Amazing. Yeah, so amazing that he was completely broke. Every other apprentice was living it up at their master's expense, but no, not me. I put in all the work, He forbade me, and with his reputation in Fontaine, it was too risky for me to go it alone. As long as he was alive, if I had to kill him.
And this was...
It was reason enough.
Well, I was under...
In love with Jack.
Guess I was wrong about that.
I am. Caesar was... I never bought into any of that.
Oh, yeah!
That's just how it... I stole cheap.
So, that's the...
What choice do I have? So be it.
Very well. In the... Traveler, Paimon, keep an eye on Lorraine.
Lily has told me the whole...
Lorenzo, do you confess to the murder of Caesar?
Look who's... What kind of disciple murders their own master? I hope it was worth it.
Looks like it's all over. What should we do next, Lenny? Should we...
Let's rendezvous.
Good point! We...
Ah, you're back. You were so quick.
You're third? Lynette, come on, we've talked about...
It's fine. I'll shift to exercise mode and jog.
That's besides the...
Did everything go okay?
Of course! Lorenzo was no match for us. The girl...
Gosh, that's amazing. I had my suspicions about Lorenzo, but
It's okay. We understand. But you don't need to be scared.
I always wanted to report Lorenzo. I was so afraid. Thank you all.
Thank you all for clearing Caesar's name. I never would have guessed that Lorenzo... to think at least his soul can find...
If
Don't blame yourself.
yeah, you...
Cheer up, Gemma. My brother's doing a magic show at the Opera House tomorrow evening. This show will be a special one.
In Caesar's honor.
Great. We'll see you tomorrow evening.
Don't worry, we'll be there. No way are we gonna miss out. Wait. Paimon feels like we're forgetting something. Oh yeah, Caesar's diary! We never found out if the two kids Caesar taught magic to were Linny and Lynette or not.
Not this time. My brother, so I'll be watching with you.
Good evening, ladies, and the great magician Linny has prepared a spectacular show for us all tonight.
Wow!
Thank you all so much for...
Exciting stuff.
Yes, it's just...
No wonder. So,
Well, children love... And somehow,
aw, that sounds so...
it was with a flower. I would...
Oh, that's so...
Is that right? After all, you never know when the people...
That's right.
Right. Yes, you can breathe each.
See? Even the Phantom Weasel! Lorenzo escaped? Where is he?
What do you...
As Lenny once said, a performer's job is to commit fully to their role. But once the bag of tricks is empty, it's been 10 years, Gemma. Aren't you tired of the grieving widow act?
What are you talking about? Traveler, Paimon doesn't like where this is going.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope there will now be a brief intermission, after which the final performance will take place outside of the Opera House. So please...
The Phantom Weasel never did like public play. Don't worry, this place will be quiet.
Dear me, this is awkward, isn't it? And unfortunately, I'm all out of gadgets, so this is a big mistake for a magician to make. But
Lenny? Don't we have more important things to address right now? Lynette accused Gemma of being the real Phantom Weasel a moment ago. Oh, what the heck's going on?
all in good time. Magicians are good at guessing what people are thinking. I know the questions you want to ask. And as it happens, the story I'm about to tell might answer a few of them.
Really? Well then,
Let's go back to the very beginning. A decade ago, when the Phantom Weasel was terrorizing the court of Fontaine. She never missed a target, never left a trace, and no treasure was safe from her thieving hands. But as her infamy grew, so did the readiness of the police, and her opportunities to act became ever fewer. Every day, she ran the risk of being exposed for who she was. Of course, she could not simply take this lying down, and before long, she found her ticket to freedom. She would... After weighing her options, she set her sights...
So, being the master deceiver she was, the Weasel easily earned Caesar's trust. But as she was considering how to make her move, at her encouragement, Lorenzo tampered with Caesar's magic box. Caught afterwards, Lorenzo seized his master's property, and the Weasel set about tarnishing Caesar's reputation. 2 co-conspirators committed the perfect crime.
I've got to hand it to you. But I just have one question.
Don't worry, Lorenzo said nothing at all. But I never believed that he was the Weasel, and in fact, my investigation only made me more certain of that. He was too forthcoming with his confession, as if there was something else he was trying to hide.
How disappointing. So you'd sooner trust Lorenzo than me? Even without a shred of evidence?
A magician is an expert at playing the audience to get the result they want. And I have no doubt that you, Gemma, are equally talented in this regard. With a little help from Lorenzo, you put on a very convincing performance. Caesar was maligned and hated by all for 10 years, but you? Who would suspect for once?
Wait. So, but